Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're not just crunching some abstract math problem, we're treating this complex polynomial identity like a critical corporate audit. Think of this equation as a messy, complicated balance sheet the board of directors just dropped on our desk. It's our job to perfectly reconcile it. So we're going to systematically unpack the whole structure, decode those operational variables, and extract the exact bottom line value the stakeholders are looking for.
Let's dive right into our core business challenge. If you look at this source image, we've got a multi-layered equation that needs resolving. On the left side of the ledger, there are two operational units, a binomial and a trinomial, that we need to multiply out. And this is set perfectly equal to a finalized cubic polynomial on the right. Now, the ultimate objective handed down to us is super specific. We have to isolate the hidden value of the constant AB. Not A by itself, not B by itself, but their combined synergistic product. To keep us out of the operational weeds, we'll follow a strict 5-step methodology. The executive summary, expanding our operational view, strategic alignment, value extraction, and finally, the bottom line. Starting off with step 1, the executive summary, let's outline exactly how we're going to dismantle this. Our methodology here is brilliantly simple, yet totally crucial for this kind of audit. First, we expand our operational view on the left-hand side. We have to unpack those brackets to see the raw data. Second, we group our assets, gathering similar variables into their own departments. And third, the really crucial step, we reconcile those grouped assets with the target metrics on the right. Since this equation is an identity, meaning it holds true for literally any value of x, every single department on the left has to perfectly match its counterpart on the right. Moving right along to phase 2, expanding our operational view. We need to break down that condensed structure on the left side by actively distributing the assets from that first bracket into the second. So carefully multiplying the x and then the 3 across all the terms in the second bracket, we get this raw expanded view. It gives us 5ax³ minus abx² plus 4ax plus 15x² minus 3bx plus 12. Wow. Right now it looks like a completely chaotic ledger, doesn't it? Just raw, unorganized data. And honestly, we can't make any sound strategic decisions based on a list like this. So to make sense of the chaos, we need to group our like terms to create a much more organized structural blueprint. Think of this as departmental consolidation. We consolidate our x² assets, factoring the x² out to give us a neat coefficient grouping of 15 minus AB. We do the exact same thing for x assets, giving us a clean bracket of 4a minus 3b. The x³ term and that constant, 12, are already isolated and accounted for. Suddenly, the chaos transforms into a clearly structured, auditable ledger we can actually use. Which brings us to phase 3, strategic alignment. This is where we match our newly organized internal structure to our external targets. Let's refer back to our core business brief to remind ourselves of the external target metrics on the right side of the equal sign. We've got 20x³ minus 9x² minus 2x plus 12. This cubic polynomial right here, that's our gold standard. It's the exact finalized report that our newly organized left side must perfectly align with. And here is the absolute crux of our reconciliation process. Because our brief states this polynomial identity is true for all values of x, it dictates a strict mathematical law. The coefficients on the left must perfectly mirror the coefficients on the right. There's absolutely no wiggle room here. The x³ team on the left has to report the exact same numbers as the x³ team on the right. The x² match the x², the x's match the x's, and the constants match the constants. By meticulously matching these terms across the aisle, we generate 3 critical subequations. Think of these as our key performance indicators, or KPIs, for this audit. First, matching the x³ terms, we get 5a equals 20. Second, the x² terms give us 15 minus ab equals negative 9. And third, from the x terms, we get 4a minus 3b equals negative 2. If we satisfy these KPIs, we solve the whole system. Now for phase 4, value extraction. It's time to roll up our sleeves and actually solve these KPIs. Every good audit starts with the most accessible data, right? Our highest tier asset, the x³ term, gives us a really straightforward equation, 5a equals 20. This is our first real foothold. It's the low-hanging fruit that lets us start cracking these variables immediately. By doing a simple division by 5 on both sides, we immediately isolate the value of a. So, a equals 4. Just like that, we've cracked the very first piece of the operational code, giving us a verified foundational number. But hold on a second. Before we rush ahead to plug that 4 into other equations and feverishly solve for b, let's pause and refocus on our primary objective. The board didn't ask us for A, and they didn't ask us for B. They specifically requested the combined product AB. In corporate strategy, just like in advanced math, efficiency is everything. We should never expend resources doing more work than is strictly necessary to deliver the final product.
And that brings us to a massive strategic shortcut. Look closely at our second KPI, the one from the x² terms, 15 minus AB equals -9. Do you see the hidden gem here? It already contains our exact target deliverable, AB, completely intact as a single unit. We don't even need to substitute the A equals 4 that we just found, and we absolutely do not need to waste time or processing power solving that third equation for B. We can totally bypass all that busy work and just isolate AB directly.
Which brings us to our final phase, phase 5, the bottom line. This beautiful piece of operational efficiency brings us right to the end of our audit. Because we spotted that shortcut, the path forward is incredibly clear and remarkably fast. We start with our KPI, 15 minus AB equals -9. To isolate our target asset, AB, we just subtract 15 from both sides of the ledger. That leaves us with -AB equals -24. To finalize the books, we simply multiply both sides by -1 to flip the signs, leaving our target variable positive and perfectly isolated. As any seasoned consultant or auditor will tell you, the numbers never lie, provided the structural reconciliation is set up correctly in the first place. By taking the time to organize our data, strictly aligning our internal metrics with the external target, and keeping a laser focus on the most direct path to value extraction, the final solution essentially just presents itself to us without a fight. And that undeniable truth, our final extracted, fully audited value for the combined entity of abx, is exactly 24. Returning to our original challenge brief one last time, we can officially sign off on this project. Looking at the multiple choice deliverables provided by the stakeholders, our rigorous 5-step methodology allows us to confidently identify option C, 24, as our verified, mathematically unassailable solution. Thank you for joining this explainer. Going through an exercise like this leaves us with a pretty compelling thought. If we can take a chaotic jumble of abstract algebraic variables, methodically organize them into departments, reconcile them, and extract such a clean, undeniable result with absolute certainty, what other complex, real-world operational bottlenecks in your own daily workflow are just waiting to be decoded using this exact same structured approach? Keep looking for the fundamental structure beneath the daily chaos. I'll catch you on the next one.